Good morning, boys and girls. I am at school today. It's Mrs. Jenkins. I came to school to do some work. We're only allowed to come in for 2 hours at a time, so I've got a little over an hour left. But I came in to clean, but I've really been wanting to do a math lesson. Mrs. Curtis has done some great math lessons, and you're welcome to go to her YouTube channel. There's also math lessons on the LAUSD Online Academy, and they're following the Go Math program, which is what we were doing in class. But I wanted to do a lesson to just kind of go over some math strategies, because at this point in the year, we worked really hard on numbers 1 through 10. We were working on numbers to 20, the teen numbers. A lot of the kids can already write their numbers, to 30, some to 100. And that's easy for parents to do. You can find worksheets, you can make up your own. That's easy. But the teaching part of it, the strategies we teach in kindergarten are really, really important, and I just don't want them to miss out on that. I want them going to first grade knowing all these strategies. And you'll be surprised, they really do know a lot of these, even though we didn't get to finish up the year with math. So we were working on addition before we went on vacation, and they really had that down. We were going to come back and do subtraction, and then we're going to finish up the year with story problems. Okay, so I'm going to turn the around on the other side to film this. And one reason I wanted to do this math lesson when I was at school is because I have so many manipulatives and things, and I just didn't want to bring everything home. It's hard to do lessons at home. I already have a lot of stuff I've brought home. I don't have room for any more. Okay, so what I did is I want to start out by talking about the 10 frame. Parents, you know all about 10 frames because we do them in the Go Math packets and for homework. The neat thing about a 10 frame, you can use it for so much. We started out the year using it for counting, and we started out with just a blank 10 frame, and the kids, of course, count the boxes. I tell them it's like a picture frame, right? And so if they had 10 people in their family, they could put a picture of their mommy, their daddy, their grandma, their grandpa, their brothers, their sisters, their pets, because there's room for 10. There's 10 boxes or 10 frames, okay? The reason we use these 10 frames is because when you give kids just a bunch of things to count like this, it's hard for them to organize them in the brain. Now, if we put just 2 here, of course the kids can tell you that's 2, okay? Probably even if we put 4 here, okay? Right away, they really wouldn't have to come up, hopefully, and go 1, 2, 3, 4 and touch them and count them. They can see that. That's called subitizing. If you can look at the number, you can picture it in your mind, you know what it is. Now, once you get past 5, it's a little harder to subitize. Then at that point, some kids can still do it. Some kids would have to come up and touch these. But if you can put them in an organized fashion like this, a lot of kids hopefully would be able to tell you that's 5 without counting it, because they recognize that order or that pattern for the numbers on a dice. There's 1 in each corner, that they see that 4, and then they see the 1 in the middle. They also, some kids see it like this: 2 plus 2 is 4, and 1 more is 5. Okay, but when you put these in a 10 frame, okay, the kids know, because we work on 1 through 5 at the beginning of the year. They know when you fill up the whole top row, they know that's 5. Okay, now we still do have some kids, and mostly it's the younger ones, are the ones that just developmentally, they're not quite there yet. They might look at that and they might not be able to say 5. They might have to come up here and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I would say most of the kids look at that right away. They don't have to count it. They know it's 5. And then if I filled up the bottom row, okay, they know there's 5 on the top, 5 on the bottom. Okay, they're equal, right? And they know that 5 and 5 is 10. The whole 10 frame is filled up. So again, most kids wouldn't have to come up here and touch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Most of the kids just can see that that is 10 because all the boxes are filled up. So that's why we use a 10 frame. It's a way to organize the numbers. So when we put a number in the kids, we say 6, they know it's 5 and 1 more. They can kind of picture that, okay? All right, so when we're using the 10 frame for addition and subtraction, you know, it's great because let's say we take a problem like this, addition, 5 plus 3. Okay, now I know, boys and girls, a lot of you guys can do that in your head. That's called mental math, and that's awesome. Okay, but I want to go through a set of strategies, and one of the strategies would be to use a 10 frame. We're going to put 5 on the top, and oops, that's all right, 1, 2, 3 on the bottom. Now again, some kids might have to go back and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, but I would say the majority of the kids in room 1 can look at that and just tell you that's 8, or they'll say 5 and 3 is 8. Okay, so we're hoping with all the use of 10 frames that we did at the beginning of the year, that when they get to addition and subtraction, they'll be able to put that picture in their mind. Okay, now I have an awesome poster, and it's called Strategies for Math. And I haven't counted them. Let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 strategies, 10 problem-solving strategies. So when the kids are doing addition and subtraction, they can use some of these, okay? So we're gonna go through these strategies, and we're gonna solve the same problem for each one. We're gonna go back to this 5 plus 3, okay? So let's start at the top. One strategy is for the kids to use their fingers. And in kindergarten, the kids aren't expected to memorize these math facts, even though we only do addition and subtraction to 10. In first grade, they'll go on. But when we test them, they don't have to have these memorized. They can use their fingers, okay? So the nice part about your fingers is you always have your fingers with you. You might not have manipulatives, you might not have a pencil and a paper, but you always have your fingers. So you would hold up 5 fingers on one hand and 3 on the other. And again, it's a lot like the 10 frame. Okay, if they hold up 5, I can't do this very well, but if they hold up 5 fingers on one hand, hopefully they don't have to count that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hopefully they're gonna know that's 5, 6, 7, 8, okay? All right, so use your fingers. That's a great math strategy. Use manipulatives. Now you recognize these. These are our red and yellow counters. The kids use these, you know, for the whole 6 months of school, we use these counters. And you had them at home, and you could use them, you know, for the homework at home. But those are not the only manipulatives. I got together some manipulatives here that we use in the classroom. Okay, the kids at the beginning of the year just play with these, right? They think they're toys, which they are. We've got the little cubes. I've got these. We've got bears. We've got this. We've got dice. So let me just show you on a pair of dice. We find the 5 and we find the 3. And if the kids need to count it, they can touch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or a lot can do it in their head. Okay, I love this one. I made 5 blue Unifix cubes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I added 3 red. 1, 2, 3. All together, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, some kids might have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But what we really want them to do is to put that big number in their head. Okay? Don't start with 1. Start with 5. 5, 6, 7, 8. Same with this one. 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? If we wanted to use a 10 frame in our classroom, we have bears. Now, parents, I know you don't have all this stuff at home, but manipulatives are anything that the kids can manipulate and count with. So you could use paper clips. You could use pennies. You could use Cheerios. You could use macaroni. You could use beans. You could use crayons. Okay, so I put 5 on the top, and I'm going to add 1, 2, 3 on the bottom. So if I was going to give the kids a worksheet with addition, okay, I wouldn't give it to them and let them solve the problems on their own. I would say you can use a strategy. What's your strategy? You can use your fingers. You could use manipulatives and count them out. We even used M&Ms to do addition. Okay, we're going to go on to the third. Draw a picture. That's a great one. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move over to the board, and for 5 plus 3, I'm going to draw a little picture. I'm going to say I'm going to use fish because they're easy for me to draw. 1. I better make them a little smaller, huh? 2. And I like to draw the picture right above the number. 1, 2, 3. I'll put one over here. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm way too close, aren't I? 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll put another one up here. 5. I'm doing that with one hand. So I'll go ahead and use a different color just to separate. So I use 5 bluefish are swimming in the water and 3 redfish. Oh boy, let's see. So on my fishies, I'm just going to do a circle, an eyeball, and a fin. There we go. All right, so drawing pictures is a great way to solve a math problem. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 bluefish are swimming, 3 redfish swim, enjoying them, and then they all swim off together in a school of fish, right? So all together we've got 5, 6, 7, 8. I will write that answer down now. 8. Now we could also turn that around. We could start with the redfish and say there are 3 redfish swimming, and here come the bluefish. So all I did was just switch the numbers around. Is the answer the same? Yeah, we didn't add any more fish. We didn't take any away, so the answer is still 8. I call those twins. Okay, our number pairs, addition pairs. Okay, let's move on. And then we'll do subtraction when we're done. Okay, so we did draw a picture. Use a number grid. A number grid is, you know, a grid with numbers. This one goes to 100. Okay, in the classroom, we have these that are smaller, and the kids can take them to the table and use those. So what we do is we could put our counters here up to 5 and add 3 more. I could just go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now let's add 3 more. 1, 2, 3. So look at all the different ways we're figuring this out. These are called strategies. Okay, the next one, use mental math. Now, we have a lot of kids that are good at mental math, and that is awesome. If your child can do it in their head, that means that they've already got the concept down. They can picture the number 5. They can picture the number 3. They don't need to draw a picture, use manipulatives. They just, in their head, they just say 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now this one is kind of the same. They're showing you how they put the counters down, but instead of counting 1, 2, 3 plus 2 more, it's called count on. You put the big number in your head, okay, there's 3, and then you just count on 3, 4, 5. That really comes in handy when you're doing numbers that add up to more than 10. Let's say we do 6 plus 6, okay? The kids will start out with 6 fingers, and they'll try to add 6 more, and they'll say, I ran out of fingers. Do I use my toes? But if they put the 6 in their head, 6, then they count on 6 more, and they can use 6 fingers, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's count on. That's a really important one. Okay, the next one is draw tallies. Now I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to draw tallies for this problem. I'm going to start with 1, 2, 3, 4, and the kids know when we get to 5, we do a diagonal line. Okay, we slant it, we hook those together. There's 5, and then I'm going to add 1, 2, 3 more. Okay, and now if the kids had a worksheet and they were trying to figure out problems, and a lot of them maybe they could do in their head, but maybe there was one that they couldn't, this would be a great way, because all you have to do, it's kind of like drawing a picture, but instead of drawing symbols or, you know, fish or balls or whatever you want to draw, you're just drawing the tally marks. A little bit easier and a little bit faster. Okay, if we wanted to do the 3 first, 1, 2, 3, plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we just represented, here, let's put the plus sign in here. We just represented 5 plus 3, and down here, 3 plus 5. And they both equal 8. We're getting the same answer every time, right? Okay, this one, it says count out loud. Okay, she's counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now maybe she's doing our problem. She's counting to 5, and then she's going to count 3 more. Okay, 5, 6, 7, 8. This one is use a number line. So I'll go ahead and I'll do the problem that they have here. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, they did 3 plus 1. Find the number 3 on a number line. So you can just go to it directly, or you can start at 0. And I would rather do this. I would rather hop like a frog. 1, 2, 3. We're at 3. We're going to add 1 more. Okay, and the answer is 4. Let's do our problem. Let's start with 5. Start with 5 and add 1, 2, 3. Our answer is 8. So again, if we were doing a math worksheet in the classroom, one day we might give the kids manipulatives. One day we might give them a number line to use. One day we might say, okay, we want you to figure out these problems by drawing pictures. And then eventually we would get to the counting in their head and using mental math. Okay, the last one, write a number sentence. You want to write a number sentence to represent your answer. Okay, now we can do this exact same thing with subtraction. So this time, let's take 8. What I did is I took the same problem and I turned it around. We're going to start with the total now. So we're going to start with the total. We have 8 and we're going to take 5 away. So I'm going to go ahead and just take these up here because we know that's 5 on the top. If we take the blue ones away, what does that leave us with? Okay, we're left with 3. All right, what if we did the same thing, 8? I'm going to go back to 8. Sorry, it's hard for me to do this. I ordered a tripod with kind of a wand on it so I could do these lessons, and it still hasn't come. It'll probably come when I'm all done at the end of May, huh? Okay, now I'm going to do 8. We're going to take the red ones away. We're going to minus, and of course this is called subtraction. So we had 8, and this time we took the 3 away, and we're left with the 5 on the top, right? Okay, now, because we decided to, well, here, let me do one more thing. Let's draw a picture for this one. And you know what? Just to save time, I'm going to draw 8 circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You could have drawn fish or apples or whatever you want, okay? 8. If we take away 5, I'm going to, of course, we could just use this since I have the eraser, but I want you to see it. So let's just put an X on them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We started with 8. We take 5 away and we're left with 3. Or we could do the opposite. We could have started with 8 and we could have taken away 1, 2, 3, and we'd have 5 left. Now, because I decided to use the same problem for addition and subtraction, I did that for a reason. Okay, when you do that, watch what we did. Remember, we had 5 and we added 3. And what was the answer? 8. Okay, that is called a number bond. Okay, and we only worked a little bit with those before we went on vacation. But you see, with a number bond, these numbers all go together. They're tied together. We could go 5 plus 3 equals 8. We could say 3 plus 5 is 8. We could say 8 take away 5 is 3, or we could do the opposite. 8 take away 3 is 5. That's called a number bond, okay? Again, on the subtraction, you could use your fingers. You could start by holding up 8 fingers, and you could take 5 away. What I would do is take my whole hand down, right? And I'd be left with 3. You could use manipulatives, okay? You could use these bears. I've got 8, and I'm going to take away 3. 5 left over. I've got 8. If I take these 3 away, I'm left with 5. We've got 8. If I take all 5 away, I'm left with 3. Okay, you can use little toys, little counters. Okay, I could also use a number line. I'll skip down to this one. This time we would start with 8, and we would jump backwards because we're taking away. So take away 1, 2, 3 equals 5. If we took away 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we'd have 3 left over. Okay, the tally marks. We have 8. If we take away 3, we're left with 5. If we take away 5, we're left with 3. So parents, what I'm going to do, because like I said, you can find worksheets. In fact, you can just do what I did, write some problems on a piece of paper. And finding the answer is great. Ultimately, we want the answer. But even more important is teaching the kids strategies. How are they going to use this to problem solve? Okay. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take a picture of this poster, the Strategies for Math, and it's so long, I don't know. Well, I might divide it like into 2 pictures and send them and put them on my Seesaw page. And I may look for some good word problems and send those as attachments for people who have printers and can print those out. Or you could start looking for some good math worksheets. I would look for some addition, some subtraction, and some story problems. Okay, and that's all for today. Thanks. Bye.